was such a big star during your childhood?
Oh yeah, I mean, geez, that was, like I said, all the memories that I have, all the great, times traveling and getting to be a part of the WrestleManias and stuff like that. And one thing, my father, he was a huge superstar over here in North America, but I mean, compared to what he's like over in the UK, it's almost not even comparable. He's almost like a Hulk Hogan status or stature in the UK. So, being over there whenever his name is brought up, or, everybody's just, he's held in such a high regard. And that's really great, and I hope to do more and explore more in the UK. Unfortunately, they just had the World of Sport that was supposed to happen that just failed. It's a really lousy thing, because I think it was going to be huge. And that was like, because with my father's name and stuff like that, and the plans that they had for me was going to be huge. So, not that it won't happen, but in this business, usually when things are postponed, or they say that it's going to happen and it hasn't actually happened yet, it's kind of very unsure. Yeah. So.
What was your favorite match of your father's growing up?
Oh, the Wembley Stadium match with my father. No question about it. Just being there live, man, it was really like what an experience that was. I mean, we were there for the whole week, right? And afterwards, we stayed there for a week, and we traveled back home to Goulburn, where my father was originally from, and it was almost like a week-long celebration of his victory there at Wembley Stadium. And it's a funny thing, because the match itself was really great, but I tell people all this all the time. Me and my family, we were sitting all the way at the top of Wembley Stadium, and it's supposed to be the royal seats, so that's actually where the Queen sits to watch the events and games. So we got the royal seats, but unfortunately the royal seats, it was a really cool place to be up there, but it's like the nosebleed seats, like it's all the way, but there was a big, like a big bar and a restaurant and all kinds of security there but so when I was watching, it looked like almost like a couple of ants wrestling each other in the ring, just because of how high up we were. So I could kind of see stuff from that Titantron thing that they have above the ring. So it was a really back and forth, match. And my uncle Bret, he was really over in the UK at the time too. So it wasn't like a distinctive, like, oh, my dad hit something. It must have been him, because I couldn't tell which one was which. So when the final fall happened, everybody just went nuts. And then I didn't know who actually won the match, because both guys were, very over, I could say, in England. But my dad definitely being more of the, just because of his, being his background, being from the UK. So when I heard that his name announced as the new Intercontinental Champion, I mean, it was what an awesome moment that was in history. And I mean, just you could feel the excitement and the ambience and the energy. Watching it now live, it's like, I think is one of the greatest moments in WWE history, for sure, without a question.
And he went to WCW pretty soon after that.
Yeah.
What was the reason why he switched?
So I'll give you a couple stories here. So as far as I know, there was a couple things. There was a disagreement on the merchandise sales that night. And as far as I know, I think my dad did over $1 million in merchandise that night. And I don't know what the cut was at that time, but the disagreement on it, I don't know what the exact amount he was supposed to get, but he got like something really lousy. And then there was also some kind of controversy with my father at the time with the Ultimate Warrior, and he supposedly got him in touch with the doctor to prescribe him. I think it was human growth hormone at the time, and I think that he just, as this is as far as I know, he just gave him a number to a doctor, and then when they were having a bunch of scandals and stuff at the time, so Vince said that he was firing him because of that.
Yeah.
Whether it was that or they had the disagreement about the merchandise, and both of those things, I couldn't tell you, but honestly, knowing things, I would go with that that they had the disagreement on merchandise, and Vince isn't the most honest person, come on, you know, so, and he probably, and then he left, and then I know that he left, and then he actually did a tour of All Japan Pro Wrestling, and at that time, it's funny, I'll show you sometime, I still have the contracts. He actually got contracted to fight for the UWFI at the time. Yeah, which would have been a really interesting thing, and he was supposed to move to Tennessee and do some training with Billy Robinson. And I think Little Guido and Billy Scott and some guys were there. And he was supposed to face Takada in Japan. And then All Japan ended up contacting him. And I think just with the rapport that he had with them before, he said no to UWFI, which, you know, in hindsight, I kind of wonder what would have happened, because they replaced my father with Vader for those fights with Takada.
Right.
And, you know, those fights were, you know, absolutely legendary, great matches. So then after that, he went to WCW shortly, and then when he departed from there,
Why was that so short?
that was another,
Yeah,
there was another money issue.
okay.
And as far as I know, he was doing a lot of, they were starting to branch off into Europe and the UK. And my father, he was working, I think he was working Kevin Nash in England, who at the time was Vinny Vegas, and he wasn't anywhere near like the star he became with Diesel, but he was working with a lot of big guys like that and helping give them a lot of good experience, and you know, obviously being in the UK, him being a 7-footer. So I think he was really, in his opinion, he was helping bring up a lot of talent, and also helping WCW, because they didn't have any actual UK star baby faces at that time. And I think he was promised a certain amount of, I can't remember what it was, if it was a couple thousand a show or something like that at the time. And anyway, they ended up having a disagreement. And I think Bill Watts was in the company at that time, and then when he got fired, and Davey had this is as far as I know, he had a disagreement with Eric Bischoff. He said, well, that deal was what you did with Bill Watts, and we're doing something else. And anyway, it ended up being a big thing, because he was supposed to, I think he was supposed to he was going into a feud with Rick Rude at the time. And then I think he was supposed to win the TV title, but it never ended up unfolding. But you would probably remember some of his matches with Vader at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Just amazing and incredible. And Vader's has been a super guy with me. And we've talked about some of the matches and stuff like that.